Hello, everyone. My name is Keith Clark. I am the product manager for Task Lighting and Power. What I'm going to do here today is kind of go through the latest and greatest of 2020 Design's Lighting Wizard. As you may have heard, there have been some great new updates made to it in that program and what its capability is. Obviously, the major one of those is the integration of task lighting and into that program. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to start, and this will be a two-part kind of a session, right? So the first one will be me. I'm going to go through some of the basics of lighting design, some of the what's new, what you can find in the Lighting Wizard now, along with some of the support systems that are there in place to help you as a designer get more accustomed to placing lighting into your layouts and using 2020's Design Lighting Wizard to do that. The second part will be actually a live demonstration of exactly that, of using the Lighting Wizard to drop task lighting into a layout and a project. So that's the idea behind this presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. Let me go ahead and get this screen shared, and then we will jump in. Okay, perfect. All right, so again, the purpose here, talking about this new 2020 Lighting Wizard, the improvements made upon it, and the integration of text. So the things that we'll go through, obviously, I'm going to start talking about just some basics, right? Like, why is it important to get into lighting? What makes it relevant to you as a designer when it comes to putting this into your layouts and into your kitchens? Then we'll talk about what's new, what exactly has been added to the Lighting Wizard through task lighting. And then we'll talk about what task lighting's design services. We'll go into more detail about this, but it basically is, it is designed to be the support system that you need to go from a layout to a finished product, an installed kitchen. So we'll talk about that more in detail. So let's get started with some lighting design basics, right? Okay, let's start with this, right? Why is lighting important in the kitchen? What makes this relevant to, to you as a designer, to the end user, right? So let's take a look at the difference that lighting can make in one of these spaces, right? So this kitchen right here becomes something like this. Now, isn't that much more visually appealing to the end user, right? It's a kitchen that draws the eye. It's very attractive. It's definitely something that can be really only accomplished by adding lighting into a project, right? Just the way that it creates that accentuation, the enhancement of that view, it's just a really, really excellent, and trending, I guess, item in the market right now. So that's kind of the difference that lighting makes. And the idea is that Lighting Wizard is going to make this easier than it ever has before. Okay, when we talk about lighting for purpose, I want to talk about there are two key ways that you can use lighting in a kitchen or in any space, really. The first one being task lighting, which that's the namesake of our company, but it's actually a real and legitimate term in this business as well. Task lighting is functional lighting, right? That's used to light up, for example, a countertop where you may be cutting or preparing or doing any of those items, right? Task lighting is there to aid you to enhance the functionality of a space. Accent lighting, on the other hand, is just used for visual appeal, right? The aesthetic look of being able to light up the space above cabinets, inside cabinets, down on the toe kick along the floorboard. It's all there to just draw that extra attention to make something that much more visually appealing. So that's the core difference between these, and I'll show you kind of looking at this image where each is applied. Um, you know, each one of these, no matter which that you're choosing, lighting is just exploding right now. It's really, really growing. People are starting to see the benefit of having additional light on surfaces. They're starting to see the benefit and the way that it enhances a kitchen or any space when it comes to adding lighting there. It really is. It's growing very quickly. I hear it all the time. It's constantly being talked about these days in publications as well. So looking at this space, we talked about task lighting, right? What you can see here on, this countertop surface, right? You can see where this is lit all across here in the spaces where you would be working, where you'd be, preparing, or whether you would be cooking, any of the above, right? These surfaces are lit, and so it's enhancing the functionality of that space. Up here above in these cabinet interiors, however, this is what we refer to when we talk about accent lighting. And this may sound basic to you, but it's just a general understanding of, this is lighting that's designed to add visual appeal to this space. Okay, so next let's talk about Kelvin temperature. We talked about why lighting is important. Now we got to talk about some of the decisions that you have to make with the customer when it comes to making sure the kitchen looks the best for them as the end result. Kelvin temperature is one of the key decisions that you're typically making in a kitchen, and it's not always necessary. I'll talk about that in just a moment, but first let's take a look at this image. Where we're talking about warm and cool lighting. When we talk about Kelvin temperature, we talk about warm or cool lighting, that orange yellow look or that bluish white look, right? Anywhere in between. So when you look at these up here, you've got a 2700, a 3000, a 4000, and 5000 Kelvin. It just gives you a representation of how those different lights affect the kitchen in different space. What I'm here to say is that, you don't have to choose anymore, right? One of the best things that we're excited about integrating into the lighting wizard now is tunable white lighting. And that's through task lighting. It's our Tandem LED series lighting. What it does is it allows you to actually change the Kelvin temperature after the lighting has been installed. And obviously this is a huge benefit to you as the designer. For one, you don't have to go through this decision-making process with your customer, right? As long as they want lighting, you can be confident that they'll be happy with that end result if they're using a tunable lighting, because they get to pick that temperature, they get to pick whatever they'd like to light their space. And second, obviously to the customer, it's not just a one-time thing. They'll be able to tune this and change this as much as they want from here on out after the lighting is installed. So, if somebody's coming home in the evening, they want to relax, they want to wind down after work, that's a great time to shift to a warmer temperature of light, right? That warmer, relaxing temperature. If they're going to sit down on the couch and watch something, they don't want that very, very sterile light. But, say you're preparing for dinner, you're getting ready to cook, things like that. You need that bright light to, illuminate every surface in the kitchen when you're in there working, right? That's when these cooler temperatures really, really become beneficial in and of themselves. So, I want to stress Kelvin temperature is an important choice, but it's not one that really necessarily has to be made thanks to the advances in tunable white lighting and what you can now find in the 2020s lighting wizard and drop into your projects just like that. So very, very simple maneuver there, but it's always important to talk about Kelvin temperature and how it affects these spaces. Another thing before I move on, another thing I want to talk about is dimming. I think that if you're familiar with lighting, you've seen dimmable lighting before, but I think it's also important to know that when the lighting wizard drops lighting in, it's always going to drop in some kind of control mechanism that is capable of dimming the lights. So that's a given pretty much on any layout that you're dropping into, right? When you're using the design, the lighting wizard and things like that, you're always going to get some sort of control with the dimmer option included. So that's really, really handy to know. And so that's what we'll, just keep that in mind as you're thinking about, light output, as you're thinking about Kelvin temperature, what you're going to use in the space. All the lights are going to be dimmable. There are certain lights that are also going to be tunable where you can change that Kelvin temperature. Okay, the next point I want to talk about with this is, keeping control of your lighting, and this is another really, really important thing, something that I run into all the time here. Um, for everything that we've talked about so far, whether you're controlling the task lighting, the accent lighting, whether you're controlling Kelvin temperature or the light output, all these factors and more really, really add to the argument that it's important for you to control your lighting as the designer, right? Maybe you've got a great relationship with an electrician who comes in and installs the lighting for you and things like that, and that's what you've done in the past. But with the lighting wizard's ability to drop in, um, a specific type of lighting, the lighting that you want, and then render that space with that light in it, and you can see exactly what you want. It's not advisable to leave that to chance, with an electrician. It's perfectly reasonable. Electricians are understanding if you tell them, hey, I've got this lighting picked out. I'd love for you to still install it. So if that's the way that you'd like to go, that's perfectly reasonable. But I would just like to emphasize that there are so many factors with lighting spaces these days. It's just, it's important to be able to have that control over what you're putting in into that final product. Obviously, you have the final say as the designer. Okay, so now that we've talked over a few of the basics, I want to talk about what's new and what you can expect to see now in that lighting wizard. Um, the first thing here, let's talk about some of the new capabilities, right? Obviously, with the task lighting integration, you've got new variations of lighting, various new types of lighting, tape lighting and fixtures, puck lights, and we'll go through that in more detail. But there's just more options now, right? Second to that, you've got smarter layouts. The Lighting Wizard knows how to formulate and calculate out, a linear run of cabinets, spaces, interior cabinets, things like that, and it can calculate for you and drop that lighting in there, as well as the connectors, the wire, the controllers that you'll need to, manage that lighting as well in that space. So it's got a more intelligent design now that adds all these extra functionality with your layouts. And then, of course, more customization and freedom of control. We have, it's programmed so that you can drop in defaults, just a basic default. I want to put lighting in this kitchen this way. It'll drop it in for you. But in those situations where you want a little more control, you want to place fixtures yourself, you want to have something that's more tailored, you can do that as well now on this as well. So any of the fixtures that you see that can be dropped in automatically can also be manually placed and managed that way as well. And then, of course, the thing that I want to stress more than anything is just how easy it is. It is just really, really a breeze. It's been a joy working with 2020 and their programming team and everything to get this where it is now. And it's make the process such an easy transition now. Okay, so the first thing, first new variation that you've got here, new option, it comes in the form of LED tape lighting, right? And have on here that it's flexible, it's versatile. If you see it right here in the image, you can look and see that that's tape lighting wrapped all the way around that roll, right? So that's just a standard 16-foot roll of tape light, but it's very flexible, it's malleable. It comes with an adhesive strip on the back that will adhere to surfaces. It's very, very simple, right? It's a great way to get started in lighting because all you do is you just peel it, you stick it, and you connect it up, and it's good to go. So it's a really, really great starting point for lighting. It's very, very simple. It's very affordable, and so it's just a great, it's a great place to start with when it comes to lighting. And of course, the Lighting Wizard will absolutely drop this right into your layouts. Will calculate out the feet that you need, how many rolls, all that for your installation. So really, really makes it easy again at this point. There are lots of places where tape lighting shines and does well, and Lighting Wizard will help guide you to those locations. So let's take a look at just some installed examples here. We've got one interior cabinet and one under cabinet. You can see on each of these runs where that lighting has been installed. Obviously, you've got your basically here accent lighting example on the left and a more functional example on the right where it's actually lighting up that stovetop for an enhanced cooking experience there. So that's just kind of two examples for you. Okay, LED linear fixtures. Okay, this is just a different type of lighting, another option that you've got in here. So if you've seen tape lighting, then maybe you've seen, a pre-assembled light fixture, right? And what that means is all the labor and the legwork has been done. The fixture comes ready out of the box with connectors attached to either end. So that way, all you got to do is you screw up mounting clips, you snap it into place, and you connect power, and it's good to go. And so obviously the idea behind that is it's just less work on the installer. It's very, very easy to understand. And the way that it's designed and the way it's programmed into the Lighting Wizard is that the Lighting Wizard will actually take the cabinet sizes that you input. It's based on based on a standard modular cabinet, right? It'll pick a fixture that is the proper length. It'll drop it beneath that cabinet, and it knows, how much wire to calculate for that. The connectors are already on the fixture, so that doesn't need to be calculated. And then it also will, of course, drop in the the chosen control system as well. So lighting fixtures also another great entry point into lighting. If you're not comfortable with the idea of the customization of tape lighting, cutting it to size off of the roll for what you need and things like that with your installer, the fixtures are a great alternative to that because they're already pre-assembled. So I would highly recommend that you mess around with these. You put a layout in there, you drop the fixtures into it, and you just see that they kind of snap into place. Making it really easy to comprehend. If you know your cabinet sizes, you know roughly your fixture sizes that go along with it. So that's kind of the idea behind linear fixtures, is just added simplicity. It takes another bit of work off of you as the designer, you and your installers. So just like before, here's some examples of linear fixtures. You can see on the left side here, you've got that fixture that runs above the sink, lighting up that entire, countertop surface. And then on the right here, I'll pull the mouse over so you can see if you weren't aware, this is actually the fixture that runs up along the inside edge, leading edge of this cabinet right here, creating a nice finished look. It's it blends right in. If you're standing looking at this cabinet, this is tucked underneath, you won't see it. It hides away. The frosted lens diffuses this light so you don't see a reflection of a ton of little dots in the countertop. It's just a really, really nice finished look when it comes to linear fixtures. Okay, let's talk about puck lights briefly here. So, of course, LED puck lights are another option that has been added and made available to the Lighting Wizard to be dropped into place. Um, Puck lights these days typically are used for accent lighting. They're used interior cabinets to light up, the inside of the cabinet. They're used on shelves. Sometimes they're even used as uplighting to light, sit beneath something and light it up, illuminate that object. There are areas, and maybe your area is one of them, where puck lights are still very common for use for under cabinet lighting. It does happen. I see it plenty. So if that's your area, then you know who I'm talking to there. So they have a wide variety of options. It's not just accent lighting. So um, you know the puck light obviously round. It can be surface mounted or recessed. And when I say that, what I mean is it can be installed in such a way that the entire puck light is just mounted to the surface with a simple screw attachment, or a circular hole can be cut out of the object, and then the puck light recesses down into that, and it's got a nice pretty little flange that goes around it to keep it a nice clean installation there as well. So again, great for accent lighting, can be used in a lot of different places, and the lighting wizard knows everything about spacing, whether you're doing it between a cabinet or inside cabinets. The lighting wizard knows how to drop that in. You just once you specify where you'd like to see them, so makes it very easy even with the puck lights. Okay, so just one more example, taking a look at the puck light, you can just see here how it's been used inside these cabinets to light up both of these objects, light up that whole box. And this is just an installation where you can see that these pucks have been recessed, where they're basically flush mounted almost to that surface there. So that's an example of a recessed puck inside that cabinet. Okay, so having looked at these new three variants, the way that Lighting Wizard can drop them into layouts, the idea is that the Lighting Wizard and Task Lighting just make it that much easier to start adding lighting to your projects, right? Um, there's less time involved when the Lighting Wizard can drop the lighting in for you. When the lighting is easier to install, goes in quicker, reduces all that labor, and then of course, we talk about the confidence factor, right? Having confidence in your layouts. And not only can you have that confidence in the lighting wizard, but task lighting also has a support system of its own that I want to talk about that will help you and hopefully give you that extra bit of confidence, right? And so that program is called our task lighting design services and technical support. And what it is this is a dedicated team, right? They do lighting, all day, every day. Their focus is on how can we light a space in the best and most efficient way. Um, what you can do is you can use the lighting wizard to put this design together. Once you have your design in 2020, you can export that. You send it to the team. If you have questions on it, they will be happy to walk you through how it work. If you have questions on how it would be controlled, the controllers that were placed by the lighting wizard, if those are unfamiliar with you, they can walk you through that and how they work and what to expect whenever you get that lighting fully installed. And they're just a really, really great wealth of knowledge as well. I mean, if you have just general questions about lighting, before you even start looking into the lighting wizard and dropping your projects in, you can call them first and make sure, hey, I just want to make sure I'm thinking about this right, or I want to, look at this project before I go into the lighting wizard, and they'll walk you through that. It's really great. Um, they are super, super helpful when it comes to understanding the way, lighting is designed and laid out and all that. So a great support system for you there. And, obviously the service is totally free, but they're just, they're there to help. And so, I have a note on here, obviously when it comes to the technical aspects of an actual program, for 2020 on the Lighting Wizard, you're going to want to contact 2020 for, technical support on the actual program. But design services is there as your secondary help for the layouts and understanding lighting and all the questions on product that you might have as well. So, their contact information is listed right here. You can also find this all at tasklighting.com. But I'm really, really looking forward to the ability of dual support from the Lighting Wizard in 2020 and also from Task Lighting's design services to help you make sure that everything comes through, makes you look like a rock star, and makes the customer happy, when it comes down to it. Okay, so next, I just want to thank you. I really appreciate you giving me the time to sit and look at some of these new and exciting changes that are going on with the Lighting Wizard. I hope that you will stick around, and take a look at this second session, in which we're going to go in and drop actual lighting into a layout, and you can see how it works, see how simple it makes it to snap that lighting into place, get a layout, get your component list all done, all sent to you right there. So again, I really appreciate it. I will stop sharing now so I can close out here. Again, thank you so much. It's exciting. It's great to see, task lighting in 2020 working hand in hand. I think that it's going to really, really help make lighting that much easier for you as the designer. So of course, obviously reach out anytime, whether it's to 2020 or to us at Task Lighting and our design services team with your questions. We're here to support you and help. And so again, thanks, and enjoy the rest of your day.